Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So I just wanted to go ahead and flip through January with you in my Hobonichi HON. This is my first year using a Hobonichi product of any kind, so I wanted to go ahead and just share my experience being in a Hobonichi for 1 month so far. So the one that I have here is just an A6 HON. So from my understanding, the HONs come with their own cover, so you don't have to purchase a separate one like you would for a lot of other Hobonichi products. It is what I would consider like a hard cover, but it is a little bit flexible and it's not too thick. So it does offer some protection for this journal as is, or you can also buy a separate cover in case you are concerned with the thinness of the cover that is included. So my plan for the Hobonichi HON this year is for mainly memory keeping. If you're more interested in seeing kind of like my planning routine and how I stay organized with my day-to-day life and tasks, then I am currently using a separate B6 Sterling Ink Common Planner. So I will go ahead and link a recent video to that here so that you can go ahead and check that out if you are curious in that. But for the Hobonichi HON, then this one is for memory keeping. So it just houses a lot of things that I want to remember about each day, such as little journal entries or like a 1 line a day, as well as daily doodles, monthly memories, and monthly favorites, which if you are familiar with any of my previous bullet journaling videos from 2024, basically the majority of the things that I listed that I am currently using my HON for, with the exception of the 1 line a day, then that was something that I had done in my bullet journals previously. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this thing open. So I don't have too much written down for the first few pages, but I did just write down Sierra because that is the name that I decided to give to this planner. For the Hobonichis, then they include a few different calendars. So this large one here, then that is the current year. Then they also have a previous year and then a calendar for next year. And then we move right along into these vertical monthly spreads. So I decided that I would use these spreads to write down 1 line a day. So I would just write down a few things that happened that day or a highlight of the day or something like that. So there's not very much room to write, and so I just keep it very quick and simple. So I decided that since they also included December of 2024, then I just went ahead and started logging these in December. So that's why I ended up having December and January already. And then these pages are obviously blank for now. And then we're moving on to the monthly spreads. So again, they included December of 2024. For this page, then I just wrote down some gifts that I received in an advent calendar from my sister. And then here is January. So if some of you may be familiar with my bullet journaling from 2024 and the previous years, this is something that I always really enjoyed doing pretty much since I started bullet journaling. Was similar to the 1 line a day. Then I would basically just doodle like a scene or a snippet from each day. So that could be like a highlight of the day or just like a funny little moment that I wanted to remember going forward. So I just really love being able to look back at these doodles, and I love being able to see it in this calendar format. This is something that I had done in my bullet journals for several years, and I thought that this would be the perfect purpose for this Hobonichi HON since it has all of these calendar layouts, but I wasn't planning on doing my planning or productivity in this planner, and I really love how it turned out. I decided to do something a little bit different with my doodles starting this year. In the past, and I didn't really add like faces to my doodles or anything. I typically just left them blank, but starting this year, I kind of wanted to just add a little bit more emotion to each of my images and just provide some more detail and context to each day because the facial expressions can definitely explain a lot. And then in terms of other decorations, I just went ahead and used some of the same washi stickers that I used for my January spreads in my common planner. So I was thinking I would try and just keep like the themes similar for both planners, and that way I wouldn't have to come up with like 2 different themes per month. And then I just wrote out some lyrics here to fill up the rest of the space. So I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I'm really excited to see how the rest of the year looks. And so you may notice that I have a couple of those Midori index tabs here. So this first one just marks the current month that I'm in. So I'll go ahead and just show you February. As you can see, I do have a little doodle drawn in for yesterday since I am filming this on Sunday the 2nd. But I put this tab here just so that I can easily flip to whatever month we are in and quickly draw the doodle in that way. And then I also placed another tab back here, which I will go ahead and show you in a moment. And then these other two bookmarks that come with the book. Then the first one, this blue one, just ended up marking the 1 line a day page, so I can easily flip to it every day. And then this gold one marks the next daily page that I'm on, so I will go ahead and show you those. But before I show you the daily pages for January, then I'll go ahead and just kind of show you what I decided to do for the blank page preceding the January daily pages. So at the beginning of every month, then there is a blank page here that you can either leave blank or you can do whatever you like with. So what I decided to do for this page was I included a couple of little pictures that I printed out from my HP Sprocket Bluetooth printer. I just cut them out and pasted them in. And then I also went in with my Prismacolor colored pencils to just color in some of my favorites from that month, which again, just to go back to my bullet journaling system that I was doing before, this was something that I like to do for each month as well, where I would print out some pictures and I referred to that as my monthly memories. And then I also either drew out or wrote down some of my monthly favorites. So I thought that this would be a good use of this page since each of the months have this page. So yeah, I really like how it turned out, and I think that it just sums up the month very nicely. But with that being said, let's go ahead and flip through the month. So as you may notice, I did do a journal entry for pretty much each day of the month, and I really enjoyed writing these journal entries. If you are curious, then the pen that I found was the perfect match for the January shade is this Sakura Jelly Roll Moonlight in the pale brown shade. And this one's actually the empty one that I ended up finishing, which you will see in a couple of pages from now. But yeah, I've been really enjoying journaling in this planner so far. I know that there are so many different ways that you can use this planner, but like I mentioned, since it's more so for memory keeping and my common planner is more for like productivity and stuff, then I just don't have any like planning or productivity in this. I just have a lot of journal entries, which I really love the look of. I think that it just looks very clean and very simple. I don't plan to do much decorating or adding a lot of different things to this planner. Like, I just want to keep it very simple, very minimal, and just have it be a place where I can focus on writing down all of my thoughts. And so far, it's probably my favorite part of each day in terms of my journaling / planning routine, just because I love journaling so much, and currently I'm only relying on both my Hobonichi HON and my common planner as the places for me to journal, since I don't have a separate blank journal that I can just write freely in. I mentioned this before that I really want to maximize all of the pages in both of these planners before I even consider cracking open another one. So here is where I ended up finally running out of that first pen, which was very surprising to me because it looked so close to being empty when January first started, but it was amazing how long it lasted. It actually made it a little more than halfway through, which was so impressive. But yeah, so far my experience writing on this paper in the Hobonichi HON, like, I've been loving it so much. I know that it's really up to personal preference, but I really love being able to feel the texture of my writing on the previous page, and it just feels very lived in, and the planner is just really responding to the way that I'm using it and how I'm writing in it. It just feels very nice, and I've been really appreciating it. So this Saturday was actually the day where I did not even open my planners. It was a very busy day, so I didn't even have a chance to open my planners and work on it, which on Sunday the 26th, then I woke up and remembered that I was either going to have to leave Saturday the 25th blank in this journal, or I could do what I did, and I actually just wrote for both pages. So I just wrote down the time that I was writing on Sunday, and then just indicated that I'm actually writing it on Sunday, and then I just filled in both pages, which I'm so happy that I did that. I would have hated to see a completely blank page. It totally would have ruined my mood, so I'm really happy that I decided not to leave it blank. But yeah, I've just been having such a wonderful experience in this planner so far. I honestly don't have any issue with the size. I really love just how small and portable it is, very convenient, and it just feels nice in the hands. It feels nice to write on. But yeah, that was it for January in terms of the daily pages, and then here's just a sneak peek of February. If you are curious about which pen that I'm using for February's color, then I'm actually using one of these Zebra Sarasa vintage colors. I believe this is the brown black shade, so I think that it is a very good match for February if you are curious. And then the final thing that I will go ahead and show you in my Hobonichi, if you are unfamiliar, the majority of the rest of these pages are just these daily pages that will get filled out throughout the rest of the year. But then this last tab that I have back here is actually for one of the blank pages. So the Hobonichis, then they come with a few of these blank graph pages in the back that you can take extra notes or do whatever you'd like with, but I decided that since there wasn't really a place for me to do kind of like that year in pictures or year in Polaroids that I was previously doing in my bullet journal, as well as there's not really an area for me to do kind of like that year in review that I also enjoyed doing, then I figured that I would use these back pages to do just that. So for January, then I used my HP Sprocket to print out another picture. So I just printed out a picture that I felt like summed up the month very well, and then I just journaled about what happened that month. So I plan to do that for each of the upcoming months, and that'll be a good way to use up these back pages here. And then here I just have a random pen test. So yeah, that is basically it for my Hobonichi HON. It's definitely a little guy, but has a lot of things stored in it, which I just love so much. It's been such a joy to use a Hobonichi. Like I mentioned, I had never used a Hobonichi before, and I've heard about them. My sister has been a huge fan of them for the past couple of years, but I never really looked into them or anything just because I felt like the bullet journaling system was working well for me. But for Christmas, then my sister decided to get me this, so I told myself that I would find a way to use it because I definitely did not want it to go to waste. Well, that is it for my January flip through of my Hobonichi HON, as well as my first impressions and thoughts on using a Hobonichi HON. If you are also using one of these or any of the Hobonichi products, then please let me know what your experience has been like so far. Have you been a long time Hobonichi user? Which planners are you using this year? Let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.